Basic Values, Sex, Shock and Censorship in the 90s is a 1993 one-hour film directed by David Jablin. This is written by Michael Barrie and Jim Mulholland. And the reason this came on my radar is because of my deep love of Shelley Long. This is actually the penultimate Shelley Long film that I have to watch, which is slightly devastating. I hope she's in more at some point. But as the second last film, it's certainly very interesting. I will say if you're a Shelley Long fan, she's in it a lot, so you'll certainly enjoy that part of it. And that's also worth mentioning because it means that I am kind of biased. If Shelley Long wasn't in this, or if it was hosted by somebody else that I wasn't really that bothered about, honestly, I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it very much. It's a fake news show hosted by Faye Sommerfield, played by Shelley Long, and we have a series of fake clips with Sommerfield interviewing people on different TV shows. We have fake TV show clips, we have a game show at one point, and I'll talk more about that in a moment, all of which are designed to highlight the frequent mentions of sex, violence, cursing, in TV shows in the 90s. Obviously, things in the 90s are very different to how they were in previous decades, and of course, things now are different to how they were in the 90s. I would be very surprised if this film was greenlit today. Not that I have a problem with it, but I feel like it certainly maybe isn't politically correct in a lot of ways, and it might not be released today, but that is kind of the point. We are looking at all of these clips where a lot of things aren't politically correct, or there are things that maybe aren't mentioned in films or in TV shows that often. So that is kind of the point of the film. And I think it does a good job of highlighting all of these things. It is very creative. Credit absolutely where it's due. I think a lot of effort went into making this very varied. There's a lot of variety in the clips. We even have an animated show at one point highlighting various things as mentioned, and I wasn't expecting that. We have the game show. The game show is hosted by Martin Mull, which made me very, very happy. And the game show, the design of the game show is fabulous. The colour palette for that particular moment is so eye-catching and so appealing. And it's a game show about couples, and you can kind of imagine some of the things that come out of that. We have a mock sitcom at one point with Julia Duffy, and I love Julia Duffy, so very happy there as well. And some of the conversations in that sitcom are very interesting. There's a young child in it, I think a preteen, and we have quite a wide variety of characters throughout this, and obviously a really brilliant cast. The performances are really great. The format's brilliant. The pacing's great. We have a variety in what we get from Sommerfield. Often she is sitting behind a desk, behind the news desk. Sometimes she is out interviewing people who are involved in these various things and asking them what they think the effects of this increase in sex and violence and censorship, how it affects their films, how they think it makes audiences feel. So it actually raises a lot of important questions, and it provides a lot of different perspectives. And it's interesting. But as I said, had it not been for Shelley Long, I might not have found it to be as good as I did. And I'm very willing to admit that bias. I love her, and I love her in this. She has some really interesting costume changes, which is really great fun to see. Had it been hosted by somebody else, I think I still would have found it fascinating, but maybe not as enjoyable. So that's just something that's worth bearing in mind. But if you are a Shelley Long fan, absolutely watch it. I think you'll find it to be quite interesting. Definitely creative. The editing is great. The pacing is great. Really fabulous variety. And as I said, I think it raises some important discussions. Basic Values, Sex, Shock and Censorship in the 90s is one where I didn't really know what to expect from it, but I was keen to find out, and I'm pleased to say it was fascinating. I don't know if I'd say entertaining. I don't know if that's the right word I want to use, but as I said, the questions raised, the discussions they were having, the questions that Sommerfield was asking her interviewees, all really thought-provoking. And then you have Shelley Long, and she just made it rather delightful. So if it sounds like it would appeal to you, if you think these are topics that you want to find out different perspectives from, obviously it's a work of fiction, but I imagine a lot of these perspectives represent genuine opinions. And if you are interested in this kind of topic, then I think it's worth checking out. If you want something that's a little bit different, maybe a lot different, and very creative with a pretty great cast, then Basic Values might be one that's worth checking out.